Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Jay Cartere, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing House of Cards Season 4 Episode 6. Now, a lot of things happened in this episode, and I liked it. It was a good episode. I think it was better than the last episode, even though I think a lot wilder things happened in the last episode. But this episode we had more Frank. We had him saying a couple words which I think we needed, and there was some good emotional tugs at our heartstrings and whatnot. And yeah, the whole plan with Russia and China and all that sort of shit kind of wrapped up really nicely. And I'm really excited to see what happens in the next episode, since, spoiler alert, Frank is back in action. But obviously you didn't really think he was gonna die or something, did you? But yeah, let's get into what actually happened in the episode. So I've got my notes here. By the way, if you hear like some sort of wind sound in the background, that's actually my computer exporting these videos. It's working very hard right about now. So let's get into it. Let's get into Russia versus Frank. Now, the whole Russian plan, I'm gonna try and quickly explain it. It is a bit mad. Basically, China will help the IMF. I don't even know what the IMF stands for, but go with me here. The IMF and America bail out Russia if they and America get oil drilling rights. Russian companies will oversee production and get a slice of the revenues. Also, America will share their drilling technology with China, and China will put in more money. Now, I'm a bit skeptical about this, the fact that America is sharing their drilling technology with China. Like, that might lead to something down the road, but maybe not. Donald Blythe plans to present this offer to Petrov, but later decides that he cannot attend the summit due to Frank's worsening health, because he was having seizures and shit, and it was looking kind of terrible. He decides to send Kathy to Brandenburg instead, which is where the summit is taking place. But Claire persuades Donald to allow her to attend also, because Kathy has a completely opposing idea on the plan that Claire's trying to present to the Russians. Kathy doesn't agree with it at all, but Claire is very adamant on trying to get this to go through. Leanne also finds out that William Conway is manipulating the search results of a search engine called Polyhop to gain an advantage in the polls and stuff. So whenever anyone searches for anything, it will like come up with something positive for William Conway or some shit like that. I just wanted to put this in there. This has nothing to do with the Russian versus Frank stuff, but I thought this will probably play a big part in the upcoming episode, so I had to get this in here some way. Also, when Leanne brought this information to Claire, Claire was like, I can't deal with that right now. I've got to decide I got to focus on what's in front of me right now. So Kathy then tells Claire to abandon the plan with China and Tusk, and to let her do her job and take care of the situation. She tells her that the Democrats in Congress will never approve the plan due to Jackie Sharp's persuasion. And remember, Claire has the pictures of Jackie Sharp and Remy coming out of a hotel and shit. So Jackie Sharp can't really do shit to Claire right about now. I've totally forgotten why Jackie can't be in a relationship with Remy. I think maybe she's got like a husband in like her public facade, but she's not really with that husband or something like that. I think that's what happened, but yeah, for some reason she can't let people know that she was with Remy. So after that, Claire calls Remy and tells Jackie to get Bertram. No, Claire calls Remy, and then Remy tells Jackie to get Bertram board because Claire has the pictures of them. And then Claire threatens Jackie personally. Like, she comes to her office and lets her know, you gotta work with me, because if you don't work with me, it's gonna be peak times for you. So that's what Claire's doing out here. Like, she's ruthless. She's getting involved. Then Claire decides to attend the G7 summit while Frank is undergoing surgery, which I think might be kind of a PR disaster, because she's supposed to be his caring wife and whatnot. So they're going to have to deal with that somehow. But it's also really good because she seems like really committed to her country. So maybe that will help her become vice president, because they'll see she's not just the first lady. Like when we were in need and she needed to go do these negotiations, she was out there while her husband was fucking undergoing surgery. Like she's really committed to helping the cause. So it could be a positive, but it could also be a negative. And then Petrov refuses to talk to Kathy, but instead meets with Claire. So Claire's just doing great stuff right about now. She's like putting her plan in motion and whatnot. And then Frank wakes up and calls Claire, but she doesn't answer because she's busy persuading Petrov to take the deal, which she does do. And I didn't have a clue whether she was gonna get him to agree to it, because Petrov, he's just a weird guy, man. Like he instead of coming to discuss business, he'll talk about all your personal shit and try to get in your mind and do all that sort of shit. So I didn't know if Claire could really stand up to him, but she did, and she really impressed me in this episode. So yeah, hats off to Claire. And then after that, Kathy tells the press that she and Petrov discussed all night to get the deal done. Apparently she done this with Doug's approval, but reports are circling that Claire met with Petrov for a long time. So I don't know if Kathy's gonna, take the credit for getting this deal done, or if Claire will be able to take the credit and that will help her campaign as vice president. I don't know which way it's gonna go and what story they're gonna report. So I guess we'll have to see. Frank then decides to approve Claire's plan. He says this to her. He also tells her that it was a good plan, which I think was good for Frank, man. He needed to tell her that he was proud of her and, acknowledge her skills, because I think he really wasn't doing that. He wasn't appreciating her for all the shit that she brought to the table. And I think in this episode, he really, after his being on the brink of death, he really realized what was important. And it was really good, man. And then he asked her to stay with him, and then she was like, nah, I can't be the first lady. And then he was like, nah, you can be something more. So I'm assuming he's saying that she can be vice president, but you never know what he means, to be honest, because he didn't actually say that. He reminds her of the time when he said that she was nothing without him. Remember when I said that in my first review? He said that in season 3, and I was like, that's a terrible thing for you to do, and that's what made her leave. And then he basically says that it's the other way round. So that was a really heart-provoking moment. I was like, yes, Frank, get involved, man. Let her know that she's important to you, and like appreciate her for what she's been doing, basically. And then she helps him walk and stuff, and it seems like they're gonna be cool for now. Like he said it's us against the world always. So maybe they're gonna get back together and be on the same team. I'm hoping for that, because that was the best thing about the first 2 seasons, because it was working together to achieve a common goal. And them as a power couple was just amazing. And the next big plot point of the episode was Frank's health. So let me just get into that, even though we know he came back and he's fine now. But Doug did do something in this episode which might have ramifications in the future. He met with the Secretary of Health and Human Services, some woman called Meredith Lee, and then Frank was basically second on the organ transfer list, and the person who was first was hours away from dying. And Doug was like, let him die and move Frank to the top of the list, or resign. And if you don't resign, I'll get the next person to do it. And if he doesn't do it, he'll resign, and I'll strip the whole department until someone does what I want them to do. So basically, she done it. Frank got the liver of a boy that committed suicide. I don't know if that's relevant, but we'll see. And then the Secretary of Health sent an email, sent an email of the man who was second on the list and his family. Sent an email of a picture of the man who was second on the list and his family, because he died like hours before. So I'm thinking, obviously she's very bitter about the situation that like this guy has died, and obviously she feels guilty about it. Maybe she might tell about this like later down the line. So that's why I thought it was very important to bring this aspect of Frank's health up to you guys, because it might have serious ramifications in the future, because he did do something illegal. Also, Frank was seeing Zoe and Pete Russo, I don't know if his name's Pete Russo in his hallucinations while he was dying, basically. So maybe he's gonna be expressing some sort of guilt about that. And remember, Lucas's story is out there and people are going to be investigating this sort of stuff. Maybe Frank won't be able to hold up, because as we've been seeing in this season so far, it seems like his mental capacity is, well, not his mental capacity, it seems like he's getting crazy, basically. And I think that's been happening since season 2 when he killed Zoe. But I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember that far back. But he has been seeing like he's having lapses in his judgment and is seeing weird stuff, and the guilt is kind of getting to him, but he doesn't ever express that in front of people. So I'm hoping he can hold it together and keep his empire intact, but we never know. And then the last big point is Dunbar versus Frank. Basically, Dunbar decides to tell the truth and admit that she saw Lucas instead of pleading the fifth, but a campaign manager told her to lie under oath. And then Dunbar decides to allow the video of her interview be available to the public. And then when they asked her, did you meet with Lucas? She hesitated. It seemed like she was going to lie. But then eventually she told the truth. She admitted to meeting with Lucas and then claimed that the interview is an act of public political sabotage aimed to make her look guilty by association. And then she said that Underwood is a guilty man, but she can't prove it, and that the interview is a ploy by him for political gain. And she also claimed that he was morally corrupt and just basically shitting on him and dissing him while he was fucking in critical condition. So basically everyone's saying her campaign's over, because like she's publicly dissing a man who's on the brink of death. Like, that's not gonna run with the public. So I think Heather Dunbar's out of the race. But what's that other guy? William Conway. He's going to be the threat that we're going to be dealing with in the next few episodes. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I've got 3 questions here that I'm going to make my predictions with. Will William Conway... Oh yeah, also you guys leave your comments in the section and answer these questions. Will William Conway win due to his manipulating of the Polyhop search engine? Or will Frank and Claire find some way to flip the scenario and get him in trouble for doing it? I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll flip the scenario and get him in trouble for doing it. I'm hoping he doesn't win due to it. That would be really crap. But yeah, that's my prediction for that. You guys leave your comments down below. The second question is, will the public be okay with Claire being vice president, or will Frank try and get her to do something else? I'm very unsure about this. I'm very unsure. I don't have a clue whatsoever whether the public will be cool with her being vice president or not. It does depend on if the story comes out that she was the one that made the deal with Petrov. If that story comes out, then maybe they'll warm to her. But if they don't put that story out and they keep it as that Kathy was the one that done it, then I doubt it. But I don't know about Frank. It seems like he's the type of guy that will tell her that she can have all this and then tell her that, nah, you can't really have all this, I'll give you something else. But I think he's learned that he can't do that with her and that they are equals and they have to work together. So I'm hoping he doesn't do that. But again, I'm very unsure. You guys can leave your opinions down below. We'll have a little discussion. And my third question is, will Russia stay cool / will Raymond's Tusk's involvement get out? So will Russia stay cool? I really don't know about Petrov. He's really unpredictable. But as we learn in this episode, like, he's broke. He really needs this deal, so he should stay cool for the remainder of this series. I think he probably will. And I also think that Raymond Tusk's involvement in this deal will get out, and that will cause some problems for Frank. But maybe it won't, because we haven't really seen a lot from William Conway. We don't know if he's a scumbag that will manipulate the media and do smear campaigns and all that sort of shit. So I don't know, it might be a clean battle from William Conway and he just might get smeared over. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next review.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long, so all this warmth I share with you.